Yeah, Jim, bring me the ratings in New York. Who was number one on the radio? We got to figure out how to get that magic back. Well, apparently it was this guy.
130 calories. And like I said, I would never eat a granola bar, ever.
WFAN Trades posted it. He has it a little sped up, so they kind of sound like chipmunks, but I found this clip to be really interesting. They're talking about sports radio in general. So let's give this a listen.
What do you think 1993 Mike and the Mad Dog would have said about that loss last night?
Mike, when they do that, we're gonna Mike, waste of time. These guys are.
You can't go to the bathroom, dog, during the game. It takes 5 innings.
You have to figure out. I understand that.
Well, that's not the case at Fenway Park. At Camden Yards, it takes 2 minutes to go to the bathroom.
But it doesn't take you 5 minutes.
Yes, it does.
Yankee Stadium?
No, at Fenway Park, it takes 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, dog.
That is the most humongous loss the Knicks have ever had.
Excuse me, he would say enormous, not humongous.
Dog, you're never gonna see a loss like that again in the Garden. In the Garden. I've been going to the Garden since 1908. I saw Tony fight Dempsey. I saw Tony fight Dempsey in the Garden, 19, and that was the only time I ever thought same.
He actually does like a pretty good mic, like the
he really does.
Voice. Like, I was there. I was there when the
his dog is not bad either.
Yeah,
same kind of thing. Dog. So, Mike,
you must have listened to that back in the day all the time, right? Mike and the Dog.
Yeah.
Was anything better than when they did the Oscars?
Nothing. Mike and the Dog.
Ever. That was, to me, that created podcasting. Mike and the Mad Dog decided they were going to weigh in.
Interesting.
I feel like they created it when they weighed in.
Please, nobody ever tell Francesa that. I hope Francesa never sees this clip. Oh my! I actually created podcasting. I was like 20 years late to starting one, but I actually created it. I did. Yeah, I did. I actually created podcasting.
Did you see him talking about his granola bar today?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Of course I saw him talking about the granola bar. I have no life. Of course I saw this big, fat, retired sports radio host talk about a granola bar, Mike.
I was like,
we'll get to that.
This is the model for something down the road.
It is stunning how influential they were through, and are through broadcasting. More Dog now. I think Francesa does do a ton.
I feel like a lot of the people that have.
How dare you, Jon Stewart? How dare you?
There's just something so funny about that. Like, I don't think Francesa's done anything. Meanwhile, he's tried to start his own app. Like, it's just a total. Because every decision Mike has made since the Yes Network until recently has been a big disaster. Yes. Yeah, Fox Sports getting preempted by soccer.
There was a 6-1 game today. Man, that's pretty good. Have you tried to look into it at all?
No, God, I have no interest. Thank you.
Do your kids watch it at all?
Watch soccer?
Yeah, like
I hope not.
FIFA on the PlayStation. They play with Messi. I mean, he's very popular with kids.
He is.
You should give it a shot. I mean, it's a pretty entertaining tournament.
Wait, soccer's exciting. Listen, maybe if soccer's exciting on TV, you know what? I haven't yet grasped it. If it's exciting,
I mean, they're preempting you for it, so you should at least try and look at it. I mean,
wait a second. I'm doing a radio show during the day. You think I have time to watch the TV show that's on when I'm on? Do you think that's what I do? Is watch the TV show? 242, I think, is you. Let me see if it's 242. Hold on. It's USA 242. It's right around there. 245. Let me try 245. It's right around there somewhere.
And then the disaster that was his app. So there's just something absolutely hilarious about Jon Stewart being like, yeah, I don't think Mike's been up to really much lately. Totally dismissed the last 10 years of his career.
Have huge platforms now, and I include myself, we're like massively influenced by that specific show because of the interplay back and forth with those guys.
Yes,
is really what podcasting became.
The First Take and all those other ones, I think, are in many ways
sons of those shows. Yeah,
absolutely. Those guys were, and when they came on the air, the fan was nascent. Like, it wasn't as big a deal yet. Stevie Summers, at night doing all his stuff, and Dog and Francesa, and like, it lit up sports in a way that, for New Yorkers was like this, and now everybody does kind of their impression of that, but it's amazing. And to see, especially Dog, like, still going strong.
So is Mike, damn it.
Yeah, what's going on with this, John? Come on, man.
You've never heard of the Bet Rivers podcast or the Squares game or the Granola Bar? Like, what the hell's going on here?
The 5-minute morning.
We talked about this before. Unironically, I actually really love what he's done with the Bet Rivers podcast. Like, he's like that has been tremendous.
He's been on fire. He's been on fire. Like from the baseball playoffs, like he was amazing in the baseball playoffs. He's got it locked in now. But like you always say, he just needs to fucking take callers.
I know. One day he'll figure out the technology. I don't know how these other podcasts are taking calls, but he'll figure it out one day. It's been a year since he said that, by the way. I think it's been about a year since he said, listen, we're working on getting phone calls. We just haven't figured the technology out. We're still waiting, but we'll see.
We need that. We need that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's missing.
It's a long career.
And with some chapters to it too. Well, now the fan used to listen to the fan. It seems like some of it is a little performative because the clips are really funny.
Yeah. It also has to be.
There's two bald guys just like absolutely losing their mind over the protection behind Aaron Judge or what that Juan Soto.
Now
we know who that is.
Yeah, this hits us personally because ever since their show's been on, what is it? Christ, I'm forgetting their name. Sal and
Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata.
Yes. So literally, just as Bill Simmons said, now it's two angry bald guys yelling at each other. Me and Mike, we've been calling that show Two Bald Assholes in the Afternoon the last 2 years or however long.
Two bald assholes on the fan.
I just imagine the WFAN jingle. Two bald assholes, sports radio 66. Like,
Sports radio 66.
Two bald assholes.
Yeah. And no, I'm not calling them actual assholes. I'm just... No. They would probably agree with that description because they kind of do come off like that. Like, yeah, New York, aggressive asshole.
Sal Licata blocked me like 10 years ago because I turned on the radio one day and he was just like, I'm sorry, they're too thin, Carlos Beltran. And I just go, dude, I turn on the radio and you're screaming about the 2006 postseason. Like, get a life, dude. Like, get a fucking life. Like, I'm trying to drive to the store. I do not need fucking maniacs screaming about 2006.
Yeah,
he blocked me.
Dude, it's, it's a style that certain people, and I think it's more popular now, but a long time ago when I was working with my dad, every now and then we'd have on the radio, I'm not going to mention who the radio host was, but
I know who it is.
he would just turn it off randomly. And I'd be like, why are you turning it off? And he would go, I don't want to be yelled at while I'm driving home. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're being yelled at when they take that sort of tone. Some radio hosts are so talented at being able to talk about things with passion, but they're not yelling. It doesn't sound like they're screaming at you. It doesn't grate the ears. They're not yelling at you. I think it like gave my dad anxiety, like listening to certain radio hosts, because it'd be like, I agree with everything this guy's saying, but I really don't feel like being yelled at for 10 minutes. And that's kind of how I think that Sal and Brandon's show kind of comes off sometimes. Like it's too bald,
especially Sal.
At you.
Especially Sal. Sal literally has anger problems.
But he's
like, it's
good.
like
He's good at getting the attention, which is, I guess what they want. You got to have. It's sort of that any news is good. Bad news, good news doesn't matter. Any news is good news or attention. And they get it. Remember a few years ago where they pissed off Carl Banks?
Oh my God! I was on their side for that.
It's your show.
I can't take it anymore. Pull him now. Seriously, we gotta have a voice here, and I appreciate the time, Carl. Thank you. Here's the thing:
I was on their side for that, and fucking Gio was hysterical about that. Dude, Gio was
funny.
Killing me. He's like, yeah, the most fucking boring segment in WFAN history.
No one really liked that spot. The only reason I was still on is because there was a sales play attached to it. That's it. Nobody wanted it. The host didn't want it. They didn't want it. Management didn't want it. Nobody wanted it.
Carl Banks, first of all, he's a giant shill, and I'm sorry, he's boring. Like, I was on their side for that. I gotta be honest. Like,
well, you won't be buying a Kia in the future, I guess. I had no strong opinion about it. I just found the whole thing entertaining. Like, here you have all these, the dirty laundry kind of comes out because Gio has been at the Fan forever. So it's funny hearing that from like somebody that's been there for a long time. And obviously he's going to defend his friends. I know he's friends with Sal, but it's funny hearing that, like, wow, we got rid of the most boring, segment. It's like, if Gio thought that, that means he probably wasn't the only one that thought that at the Fan. And I met Carl, I actually met Carl Banks. I did at FrancesaCon.
At FrancesaCon, right?
Yeah, and he was very nice. The one time he got a little, I barely remember, but like he got a little short with me when we were on stage. And I made a joke about Belichick. Because, me and the guy, Mike Benevento, we were just kind of riffing. And I was like, so right. Carl, can you tell us, that, with all this ball deflating, this is when the Patriots deflate gate was going on. And I was like, now you knew Belichick well. Did you ever have any dealings with his balls? And I made a dumb joke, like something to do with balls. And he was just like, no. Like, he did not play along at all, which I thought was funny, which makes sense. I think Belichick was either linebackers coach or defensive coordinator for the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. So I get it.
And then he was I think probably Carl Banks' coach in Cleveland as well for the 2 years he was there.
Good call. Yeah. So he probably knows Belichick well. So makes sense.
Yeah. But think about this. For Gio to not just think that about Carl Banks, but to vocalize it on the air.
Yes.
Carl Banks probably rubbed some couple of people the wrong way over there, I would imagine.
I'll say that, and obviously we both like Gio. We've both met him a couple of times. And he's got fucking balls, man. Like, he'll say things on the air that's like, oh, shit. Like, how is he? I would imagine he probably gets crap from upper management sometimes for some of the stuff he says. But, yeah, he's got balls. I don't know about you. I actually never been like the nuts and bolts sports radio guy. Like, I can't listen to like hardcore sports talk. There has to be some, whether intentional or unintentional, Francesa, comedy element to it that makes me want to listen. I can't just listen to guys talk about sports all day. There has to be something else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why the morning show is so great. I mean, the morning show is like half bullshitting. Yeah. It's like half, if not more, of what they do is just fuck around. And then Francesa with like all of his unintentionally funny things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, Joe B, who he might be my favorite, honestly. Like, but just like the funny shit that comes out of his mouth. But yeah, it is good to have like the different perspectives. Like Evan and Joe were so great together because of exactly that point. Like Evan would be like the nuts and bolts guy, and then Joe would just be like, whatever, bro.
I think we should just bomb the Middle East, bro. How about, Joe, we're talking about Yankees leadoff hitter, but oh, sorry, 877-6666.
I'm the only one who noticed Building 7 go down.
Yeah,
like
are we going to talk about this? We've made this joke before. Where was Robert Saleh? Am I the only one that's gonna bring this up? Joe,
we said that as a joke, and then in real life, he goes, maybe he got fired because of his Lebanon flag.
And I wonder, and I think Saleh is just, we know he's Muslim. I think he's representing the people of Lebanon with because I don't believe the people of Lebanon really are happy with Hezbollah. I mean, I don't think that's the case at all.
We're like, oh my God. Sometimes we see the future.
We do.
We do.
We
see the future.
Somehow.
We literally we'll have a bit about something and then it'll come true. And that Joe B one is like a perfect example. And then Gio went nuts on him about that too. That was like, amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, we've had I feel like we do this with Francesa. We pretty much do it with every freaking celebrity or person we see on the street. We just take them and then put them in a different scenario. Yeah, and then he starts talking about Hezbollah. Like, did you ever think you'd turn on Joe Beningo and hear, we got to do something about this Hezbollah, bro? I'm going to be honest. Do they have the answer at Jets quarterback? It's like how did that happen?
I love when Yeah, not because I agree with anything he has to say, but it's fucking hysterical just hearing him like veer into like some different, like something that's not sports, to like just like with that same attitude.
Yes.
Like, yeah, let me just veer into like American culture. Like,
let me just get into this really complicated issue for a second. I guess we should finish this clip. I forgot to play the whole thing.
Seems unhappy.
Yeah.
And
the problem I have now sometimes with the fan is a lot of the voices sound the same. Like the nice thing about Dog and Francesa is they were like Hall and Oates. Like one guy sang high blues and the other guy, and every now and again. So that treble and bass really worked. Now you get shows that are like treble. And it's, you don't know who's talking and they're all at the same pitch. Yeah. And it's just kind of cacophony. And like you say, pretty performative, pretty obviously takes with like kind of holes in them. Still fun to listen to, but you know, but we're also old heads. We're old heads.
New York radio will never die. The one thing.
Yeah. And I'd like to believe that,
Amen,
that it'll never die because,
it won't.
It does. Well, it does feel like sometimes, and obviously we're biased because we grew up in New York, but it does seem like at times like a lot of the entertainment, some of the most entertaining, interesting people seem to come out of this, whether it's New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, northeast of America. A lot of like really entertaining, interesting people it seems to produce. Maybe it's an Italian thing. As I said, we will get to the granola bar. This is what we're doing with our lives. We're watching 5 minutes of Mike talking about,
by the way,
granola bars.
Did they get a new video setup or something?
Looks better,
like his video, it looks a lot better.
Yeah, I noticed it too. It's a little bit more crisp. They might have gotten a new camera.
Big Mike is like doing some things.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Still no phone calls though.
Now, I don't push a lot of products. I mean, I don't. You know that. I've never have. I mean,
I don't push a lot of products except the 30 years I was on radio doing ad reads for
the
million different things, and the Super Bowl radio.
That's the best.
What do you got going on now?
Okay, today I'm partnering with Genesis.
All right, tell me what you're talking about here, guys. Tell me about this thing you got going on.
Oh my!
All right, what's going on? What do you got going on here?
Well, I'm representing Aztec Pass.
Oh yeah, I know them well.
Literally, the entire show is pushing products, but okay, we're off to a good start.
And I've never tried to sell you a whole lot of things. I'm not trying to sell you anything either. I'm just mentioning it because I was pleasantly surprised. My son Jack is home for the summer, obviously, from school.
Okay.
Before he goes back, and they, all three of them go back to school in the fall.
Christ, he looks so old here. It makes me sad. Don't be old. Stop it. You need to be around for at least another 50 years, please.
He brings me tonight this bar. Now, I'm not someone who eats this earthy, crunchy stuff, okay? It's just not my thing. It never has been,
Okay.
But
I don't eat a lot of this, gay vegan stuff. Okay.
Basically, he came so close to saying it.
He came close.
Just like, yeah, man.
This lame ass crap.
Like, listen, I'm not into this gay stuff, right? I'm not into this, kind of new age.
Oh, okay.
So he brings me home. I'm like, I don't want to try. So you know me, I'm like, I don't like to try stuff.
Christ, those dentures are hanging on for dear life. They're hanging on for dear life. Good Lord.
They always make fun of me in the house because I'm not daring when it comes to that. Like I eat the same things all the time. I don't like to try new things. And I don't like earthy, crunchy stuff. So I tried this bar today. It's called Junkless. Chewy, drizzled granola bars. And I'm thinking, I would never go into a store and pick up a granola bar in 1,000 years. Ever. This thing is delicious.
It's unbelievable. And I would never, not in a million years, would I eat a piece of dog shit. I would never eat something like that. But it's actually good.
This is like the bread part 2.
This is very much like the bread. Yes. It was the bread.
It's 130 calories. It's chewy, drizzled granola bar.
Why did he say it again? Drizzled. Funhouse is gonna make Funhouse will add that to his remix with Mike saying all those out of context things with the sexual references.
Listen, I'd come in a second. You know what? All you need is one guy to come. I mean, rock hard. It's abnormally hard. They're just relentless. They just keep coming. Such a load, and it's incredibly creamy and delicious. Very, very wet and big pussy, but he can't finish guys off. I have not seen the PPs. Then what would get you excited? It's illegal to do that to a horse. There's a lot of guys I would say yes to. He gave it to me for 9 innings.
I think that's going to be part of another one he makes.
He rode me for 9
innings. It's illegal to do that to a horse.
Berries and cream is the flavor. It says real ingredients, less sugar, more taste, no fake stuff.
No garbage. Okay.
He's literally doing more than an ad read.
Yeah.
Like it's like
the stock for this company.
And I know to do this, folks.
Junkless.
They'll be out of business.
You can get it at like Target or the grocery store ShopRite or Stop and Shop or all, those kind of stores. Junkless. I don't know what it costs. I apologize. I don't know what anything costs. I really don't.
I love that. Because I'm so rich.
I don't do it.
I have so much money, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I have no idea. If you ask me, like,
he goes, I don't know what anything costs. That I don't do. Like, I don't do that.
Yeah, what does that mean? I don't do it. You've never bought something? I don't know. It's like what he used to say. He doesn't partake in YouTube. I don't partake in purchasing products. Oh, he's the best.
He's the fucking king.
Dozen eggs. I have no idea.
No idea.
I go to the store to get like water, soda, things that my wife doesn't want to carry, so that I'll run in early in the morning and get soda and get big things of
soda. I go and buy a 12-pack of WFAN soda. Like soda, WFAN soda in the Mets lineup.
Water, big things of soda. Other than that, that's get Snapple, stuff like that. Other than that, she does everything else. So, but this thing,
how the hell is this clip 5 minutes long? How does he talk about this for 5 minutes? And we're the assholes that are going to talk about it for a half hour.
Dude, it's not big.
All the people. All the people trying to break into media, like to have all these fucking shows and like all these stats, and we're like, yeah, this guy's the fucking king. Yeah. It's like,
who was number? Yeah, Jim, bring me the ratings in New York. Who was number 1 on the radio? We got to figure out how to get that magic back. Well, apparently it was this guy.
130 calories. And like I said, I would never eat a granola bar, ever. But I had one before, and I got to tell you, I said I got to mention on the show, this thing is really good.
One of the best things ever was when Michael K was trying his hardest to beat Francesa in the ratings. And then meanwhile, Mike's falling asleep on the air. But then one day he comes out with this like revolutionary new radio segment. And today we're going to do Word of the Day. Word of the Day.
Let's see. Did you know that potatoes have more chromosomes than humans? 48 to 46. I did not know that. All right.
That was him just freaking dancing on Michael K's grave. Okay, we're going to do this.
Dude, and he's also doing the classic Mike Francesa thing of like, I've told you this is good. Now I'm gonna tell you it's good 25 more times because I just have to repeat myself. He's
I gotta do it,
and it's really good. Like, yeah, dude, you've been saying that for 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, we're halfway there.
So check it out. I'm telling you, and I never recommend products ever. You know that.
All right, talk about Nutrisys for a minute. You're always doing the Nutrisys stuff. I see everywhere.
So it's been, No, we've
been doing that a long time.
I really don't. If I recommend the product, it's good. Like I recommended Casamigos because number one, a good friend of mine and my racing partner, Lee Einsider, ran the company.
Good friend of mine, George Clooney. Okay.
Because I have a horse.
Yeah. Everyone raved about it. People used to beg me to give it to them. They loved it.
That's going in the out of context clips, by the way. People begging me to give it to them.
I mean, they would want it for Christmas. They would love it. I couldn't.
They'd want it for Christmas. They love it.
People would beg me to give it to them. You can't do that to a horse.
Get enough from them. It was unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
But Jack brought home these things, junkless. It comes in a couple of different flavors. This one is berries and cream. Chewy.
Is he an investor?
Drizzled granola bar.
He really
and I'm
likes
telling
it.
you,
He said drizzled again.
Actually, like really good. And I like sweet. You know, I have a sweet tooth, so I like ice cream. I like Italian ices. I like stuff like that. Okay, I'm not a big cookies person. Never have been. But
great. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Never have been.
Never been a big cookie guy. Thank goodness.
Weird name, obviously, junkless, but it's
Weird
junkless. And you know what? It's really good. It really is. It's delicious. So check it out. And I promise you, you'll email me and tell.
He's going to get an email from RFK Jr. There's actually quite a bit of junk in the junkless bar. It actually makes you grow a second penis. That's what he's going to get an email or voicemail from RFK.
Yeah. Tell me it was delicious.
We need the RFK
and it's
on the show.
Calories, and it's good for you. So
it's good for you.
I'm trying to give you something good to eat that you can munch on like during the day at work, or just for a healthy snack or something like that. Not bad.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. What you said before, all these young guys trying to like grab attention and make it in the business, and it's just like, yeah, well, some guys just don't have it. Well, what's it?
Yeah,
it is this.
Well, when you're watching the Knick game, junkless, check it out. There's a couple of different bars, and I'll give you the other flavors when I get them. I told them to bring me some different flavors to check out because I liked it. I didn't even want to try it. When he brought it home tonight, I'm like, I'm not trying that. I tried it. It was really good. I said, I got to mention this on the show. So here it is. Here's the wrapper, junkless. You can get it at a store near you. Check it out. It comes in like a box of like 6 or something like that. I don't know. All the details. I'll get a box down here and check and show it to you. But check it out. Junkless. All right.
Dude, I mean, I'm speechless. Like literally that was more than an ad read. That was like 15 ad reads.
Listen,
like
he's the king of New York radio for a reason, Mike.
We
just saw a great example of the gold standard.
You know what's? I would literally rather watch that than every other option in terms of sports talk.
Him and Joe Beningo.
Number one. Forget it. That's all you need.
Like I said, he needs to be cloned or somehow given the ability. Somebody turn him into a cyborg so he just lives forever. I don't want him to just leave us one day. He's just amazing. The Jets schedule was released a little while ago, and I'm just going to say this. I find myself being way more negative than I've ever been about the Jets, while at the same time, I'm also kind of annoyed and disgusted at how negative everybody else is, particularly the media. Like everything the Jets do, it's a disaster. Every move they make is a big fiasco. It's always they're a circus, they're this, they're that. And when I looked at the schedule and I saw the Steelers were the first team they're playing, it's not because of Justin Fields. It's because they think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, and it's another scenario that they can have where the Jets, as Joe Beningo would say, the Jets they're going to stick it right up our rear end. And that's what this is. It's to make the Jets look bad. Rodgers is in a play. He's in a slice and dice Aaron Glenn's defense up. And the Jets are going to look like assholes. That's the goal of that week 1 game, to make the Jets look bad.
And as soon as he's not on the Jets anymore, like all of a sudden the narrative is going to change. Oh, the comeback. Oh, he didn't want to go out like that. And look at him now. Like he tore his Achilles, you know, at the same stadium. And then 2 years later, he's throwing for 5 touchdowns. And like, you could just see it happening. Cause like, yeah, Rodgers is going to be their quarterback. And knowing the Jets history and how the media treats us, that's exactly what they're hoping for.
Yeah, and it's like they had a decision to make. The media doesn't like Aaron Rodgers, but the media also doesn't like the Jets. So there was like this, it was almost like an indecision. They didn't know which page to be on, and that's why you had, and I'm going to pull it out. I have it ready because boy, was it something. So when the Jets made the decision not to bring Rodgers back, our favorite reporter, Diana Rossini, our favorite reporter, she's always right, she had her story come out, and this is a quote from her. I was told that when they had conversations with Aaron Rodgers about what the future would look like, if you're going to be part of this team, you're going to attend all of the training camp. You're not going to do Pat McAfee interviews anymore. So she said that. That's a direct quote. There's no misinterpreting it or anything like that. And then what was it, like a few days later, a different story comes out?
There was no ultimatums made to him. It wasn't like, and I know there was a report, it's like, well, you know, the Jets don't want Aaron Rodgers to do the Pat McAfee show, and if he agrees not to, then we'll bring him back. It wasn't like that.
Okay, so he clearly says it wasn't like that. That's not what happened. Clearly contradicting what she said in her report. And I don't have the tweet here, but he then, like later, because he wanted, you know, he doesn't want to dogpile on her. He kind of like backtracked what he said. And he was like, oh, her report was accurate, but, you know, a bunch of bullshit to make it seem like she wasn't completely wrong, which she probably was. I guess it just depends on who you believe. Do you believe not Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport or Diana Rossini?
Well, I mean, better than that, the Jets in Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji and Aaron Rodgers, all three of them said that didn't happen.
Well, now, and this is what's hilarious, because so you have those first two contradictions. Then Rodgers finally goes on McAfee to tell his side of the story.
Meet with the coach. You meet with the coach.
We start talking. He runs out of the room.
I'll stop it there just because, side note, that's like the visual of them sitting down. They sit down at this big conference table, and Aaron Glenn is like, all right, we're getting ready to start this meeting. 1 second. And just fucking bolts out of the room like, what? What?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to it's tough to imagine, like, it's hard to know like what to believe, you know.
I just love that version of events though. They sat down for an interview and then he got up and bolts out of the room. Like, why? What?
See, that little detail I can see it happening because Aaron Glenn has like a crazy energy.
He does.
So
yeah. I love it too, by the way. So let's see what Rodgers continues to say here.
I'm like, that's kind of strange. I was like, then he comes back with the GM. And I'm like, all right. So we sit down in the office. And I think we're going to have this long conversation. I've flown across the country. And 20 seconds in, he goes, I mean, literally, I'm talking to the GM about something. And he leans to the edge of his seat and goes, so do you want to play football? And I was like...
I love too, by the way, that he kind of did an impersonation of Aaron Glenn. You want to play football?
Yes.
He did it. You want to play football?
No, he did. I don't understand. Why would Aaron Glenn ask that question if they knew they were right? The next sentence was going to be, "We're moving on from you." I don't get it. See, there's a lot like
maybe.
I don't know. Do we want to play this whole clip and then react to it? I mean,
there's just so many. You know what it is? There's so many funny parts. I can't stop laughing at just the visual I have in my head. Sits down. runs out of the room, comes back with the GM. Want to play football? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm interested. And he said, we're going a different direction at quarterback. And I said, and I was kind of shocked. Now, not shocked because I didn't think that was a possibility.
That's great.
Listen, of course, they want to move on. That's totally fine. But
they want to move on. That's totally fine. It's not fine.
I don't even care.
I just flew across country.
He totally does that fucking thing that like your girlfriend would do. It's like,
yeah,
I'm fine. It didn't bother me at all. It really bothered him. So he you know,
and what?
Let's just be fair.
One thing that I'll give him credit on. I don't know if did you watch the Netflix series?
Yes.
Enigma. One of my favorite things he says in that, he goes like, he's sitting around shirtless, like high on ayahuasca, and he's like, you know, they say like, oh, you know, you're so sensitive. I'm like, yeah, I am sensitive. And I was like, all right, cool. I could like,
but you know,
I could be down with that. Like, at least he's admitting it.
Well,
you know?
he admits it there, but
yes,
every other opportunity he'll be like, I don't care. He kind of does that little game. But it's like, you do care. And like he did in the documentary, just come out and say you care. Let's see.
Could have told me this on the phone.
Yeah.
If we weren't even going to have a conversation, and this is verbatim exactly how it happened. So I said, huh? And he goes, we just want to know how you want it released, the messaging. And I said, verbatim, I don't give a shit about the message. And I said, why? And then he said, I don't want to be up in front of the room saying something and have guys looking back at you.
Interesting.
And I said, what does that even mean? Are you assuming that I would be in the back of the room during a team meeting undermining what you're saying? I said, you don't know me. And he said, you don't know me. And then I said, exactly, which is why I flew across the country to have a face-to-face meeting with you to talk about my experience with the Jets and to hear your vision for the team. 20 seconds in. What I thought was going to be a couple-hour meeting turned into like a 15-minute meeting, and I walked out of there. But
so at that moment,
that was a strange meeting for sure.
Yeah, so and he's been on Joe Rogan twice now, right? I do, yeah, and I like Aaron. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. Even when he wasn't on the Jets, I would watch his games. And frankly, I think he's probably one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Years ago, I was saying he was the best quarterback of all time, but that's a different debate.
He didn't win enough.
As much as I like him, and I actually did want the Jets to bring him back.
Me too.
He does do this thing where he likes to, and he does this he did it on Rogan a few times, where he'll tell a story and it's like he does like a dramatic pause at the end, and it's like he expects everybody to start clapping. And I told him, I don't give a shit about the messaging. Oh wow, unbelievable, great. So yeah, anyway, you get 4 or 5 different freaking stories about how this went down. I more or less believe Aaron Rodgers' story, though I think he probably made it a little bit more dramatic than it was. But ultimately, we have the media, and I think generally the league really just likes to make the Jets look like assholes. And sometimes it's deserved, but overall, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of it. You look at this schedule, it's by no means like a ridiculous, difficult schedule. They do have to go to London for one game, which, whatever. But if you look at like the first 6 weeks, Steelers, Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, Cowboys, Broncos, those are pretty much all tough games. I'm sorry, but like I don't want to be super negative, but I 100% see them being 1-7. Like by week 8, they're week 9, they're 1-7.
Dude, the problem is, and I wanted them to bring Aaron Rodgers back too. I do believe like Rodgers, the way that he described that meeting happening for the most part.
Yeah.
I definitely think, and a lot of people said, like, as soon as Aaron Glenn got the job, that there was no way that Rodgers was going to come back, because you're trying to set a new tone, and Rodgers has already been there a couple of years. He's basically like another coach. He's at all time, like, strolling into the Hall of Fame. You know, it's going to be hard to command that room with him there. And like, obviously we saw what happened with Robert Saleh. Like, Robert Saleh got fired, Jeff Ulbrich, you know, that whole regime, Nathaniel Hackett, like that whole regime that just catered towards Rodgers, they all ended up failing and getting fired, all of them. So, you know, from that standpoint, you could understand why Aaron Glenn would want a fresh start. At the same time, from a football standpoint, like, Aaron Rodgers was getting better and better and better as the year went on last year, as he got further away from his injury. I was actually at the very last game that he ever played for the Jets, and he was lights out. He was fucking awesome. It was like so fun. I mean, obviously they were way out of it, but it was so fun to watch. I just, like, from a football standpoint, and obviously, yes, they need to draft a quarterback. They need to find the How long are we saying that? Let's say that another 20 fucking years. Like, you know, but it's they have to do that anyway. They're openly saying they don't think Justin Fields is the answer. And we know that he's not. And maybe he could be like a Baker Mayfield, have like a second wind. Yeah. But even like a Baker Mayfield, like, are we super excited about that? Like, yeah, he's like, he could get you into the playoffs, but Baker Mayfield, like, you know, I don't know, man. I just, like, yeah, Justin Fields could run a little bit. Wow. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to be negative either, but like, if you're telling me Justin Fields is a better option than Aaron Rodgers, even at age 41, like, I just don't think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we could, like, when it comes to Justin Fields, I'm not excited, but yeah, he could definitely, maybe he'll be great. I don't know. I really don't know. All I could tell,
he's got the connection.
Yeah, I mean,
Garrett Wilson connection, like,
you know what it is, like, all the preseason hype stuff, I stopped caring about that a long time. Even when Aaron Rodgers was here, as excited as I was, I know it just, none of it means anything until they start playing games. And, you know, we can get excited and whatever, but I'm so tired and exhausted and beaten down. I don't get excited. I've talked about this before. I don't get excited anymore about anything that happens that's not a football game, that's not happening on the field. I don't care if tomorrow the Jets signed Patrick Mahomes. It wouldn't move me at all, because I want to see them actually win on the field. And they've done everything you can possibly do in the last 10 years outside of just winning football games. They've done everything, like anything. And for the rest of our lives, we are going to be stuck rooting for this team, going to that god-awful stadium in New Jersey. They're never going to get out of that. Like, they're going to always re-up the lease for 90-something years, and they're going to be stuck in that giant air conditioner playing this crappy football. And yeah, I mean, I'm filled with all these negative thoughts, but the one bit of optimism I have is Aaron Glenn, brought up by Bill Parcells. Maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't, but I'll tell you this, the sentimental part of me, he grabbed it. Like, he grabbed my heart in that opening press conference when he brought up 1999 Jets, Broncos, AFC Championship game. We didn't finish the job. We didn't get it done. So from that standpoint, he grabbed me, because that's one of those losses that will haunt me, and I'm not a football player. It'll haunt me for the rest of my life as a fan. And obviously it still haunts him. Like, that game was so brutal for the Jets to lose, because that year really felt like a magical year, like they were going to actually win the Super Bowl. And if they would have beaten the Broncos in that game, they would have destroyed the Falcons, because they already did in the regular season, I remember. So that's the one bit of optimism I have, is that the Bill Parcells connection, maybe Aaron Glenn will end up being a good head coach. But and I think Francesa has pointed this out. We don't know. We really don't know.
I agree. I think that the bright spot is Aaron Glenn of the offseason. I mean, they've gotten younger. They seem to be like really strict with the personnel decisions that they're making. Apparently today they did offer Garrett and Brees contract extensions. I saw that before on Twitter. I don't know if that's accurate, but excuse me, Garrett and Sauce, not Brees. But yes, I like the fact that Aaron Glenn is a Jet, that he wanted the job. He has that type of connection to the team, even more so than like a Rex Ryan, who like Rex Ryan was very, obviously he wasn't a player, but for the Jets, he was like, but he still had that like Jet pride, even the second go around when he was like taking the interview again. Yeah, exactly. But Aaron Glenn has that. He wanted the job. Yeah. And I was actually watching last night a clip of Keyshawn Johnson on in Edelman's podcast, and he was talking about the 1-15 year with Kotite, which was his rookie year. And he said the turnaround from, he was like, Julian Edelman was like, how can you explain going from, 1-15 and then this crazy turnaround? And Keyshawn just simply was just like, coaching.
Parcells, yeah.
Coaching's everything. He's like, everything. You go in from Richie Kotite to Bill Parcells. And, obviously we don't know what Aaron Glenn is going to be. No one's saying he's the second coming of Bill Parcells, but we do know he was like a very beloved and great defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Okay, Robert Saleh was also a great defensive coordinator for the 49ers, so we know that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I do like Aaron Glenn's connection to the Jets, and the fact that, yes, a team can dramatically turn around because of coaching.
Yep. And I think we're going to, we're really just not going to know until, I guess this goes for all of sports, and that's why sports talk in general is funny, because the ultimate answer to everybody's question is always the same. We'll see. Like, once they play the game, we don't know.
And I would say this. Let me go. Here's another thing, and you man would know this here. Another reason why. In '98, we played the Denver Broncos. We're out there and we are winning 10-0 in the first half. We come back in the second half. They kick the ball off. Wayne, you remember this. It was windy. The ball stops in midair, and they recover it. And they scored 2 touchdowns. I'll be damned if I'm not going to come back here and get that back.